remarks, and we'll open it up to your questions.
Thanks for coming out, guys. Just wanted to open up by saying thanks to the President Moorhead, and Greg McGarity, and the athletic department staff, the faculty on campus. A lot of people had a lot of help and a lot of hand in helping us out, especially with a short turnaround to get ready for this day. And thank our players, who I'm looking forward to getting more hands-on with those guys, getting with them. They've done a great job. To the prospects who've come in on the visits, of helping us sell our program. A lot of them tough on our players because they don't know our staff that well. Obviously the 6 mid-year enrollees were critical for us to have a successful class because they could sell us as a staff probably better than our own players could. Because I felt like the 6 mid-years kind of held the glue. Keeping Jacob a part of this class was critical, showed momentum, showed confidence in our program at the University of Georgia to keep him, Coach Chaney keeping him involved. And then obviously them blending with our current players in the recruiting process helped a lot. Today, for me, for you guys, may be about stars and rankings. To me, it's about new Bulldog, new members of the family, and making sure these kids understand what's important to their success is graduating and becoming great players and becoming productive players as a whole. And that's what this class will be judged on. How productive are they 4 years from now? And then walk across that stage and get their diploma. But I'm excited currently not only about the class, but about filling some needs that we needed, but also about now it's time to move on and start developing the players that are here and getting to have a better relationship with them and getting in the off-season conditioning program. With those comments, I'll open it up for questions.
Kirby, you said out there earlier with the fans that you weren't really concerned with numbers so much, just the quality. And is it still hard to say if there's 3 or 4 more out there besides these 17 we already have that could possibly sign?
Yeah, I think it's always hard to say at this point. You know, you'd like to get a few more, add a few more, but we're not in desperation mode by any means. I'm not in a hurry. I'm not in a panic mode. I'm completely comfortable if we end up anywhere from 18, 19, 20, 21, anywhere in there. I'm good with that because I'm not going to rush off and make any reaches. I think it's important in your first year to have those. And we've also got a relatively small expectation in our class for next year. So to have those spots available for next year when you get a full recruiting cycle, I think talked to a lot of guys that have been in a similar situation I've been in. The mistake they made was to try to fill holes or fill spots. And when you do that, you hurt next year's signing class, which I anticipate being one of our better ones because it's our first full recruiting cycle. So yeah.
If you have a question, raise your hand. We'll get one of these floor mics to you.
Kirby, you said since the beginning that targeting players in the state of Georgia was key. What was it that convinced you so early on that was what you guys needed to do?
Well, first of all, when you look at the production of players in the NFL, a lot per capita. You got the state of Georgia is very talented. So I was at a Macon event yesterday for I guess it was the state champions and the region winners. When you look across the board, the quality of coaching the kids get, the programs in the state of Georgia are really, really good. And you look at all the rosters in the SEC, that's the one common theme. Is every team in the SEC is coming to the state of Georgia to get players. So it's critical for us to be successful to get good players out of our state. To say you'll get them all, I don't think that's realistic. It's not realistic. It's a state that's attacked by so many because it's got Atlanta and it's got a network to get out and go to the other places. But obviously that's important to us, critical to our success. There'll be needs we have each year, which we may not be able to fill in our state. So it's not to say we're only going to be able to recruit our state. We got to go out to Florida. We got to go out to North Carolina. We got to go to other areas and go get needs, just like our quarterback. You know, I mean, you got to go find what you need to try to fill voids there.
How difficult was it for you, coming in December and convincing those 6 mid-year guys to, still enroll early with a completely different voice than what we saw with Coach Rick?
I'd say it's challenging. Of those 6, thinking back, I'm sitting here thinking I knew and had a relationship with, well, I guess probably all of them except for the quarterback. 5 of those 6 I had either met, seen in recruiting, knew from the summer, had come to our camp at the University of Alabama, so I had some relationship with me and they knew of me. So that helped to have somewhat of a bond there. I think those guys, it also shows a little bit of a credit to the rest of the staff that remained, the guys that were here already and stayed, the support staff. They had a lot of relationships in the building with guys from coming over here a lot. So that helped tremendously. But obviously going in those home visits, it's a little awkward at first. And you're trying to sell yourself and sell the program, which is easy to sell here at UGA, but I think those 6 staying in place gave confidence to the rest of this class that everything's good, everything's going to be okay.
With Jacob, now that he's been able to acclimate a little bit to campus life and all that, what's been your first impression of him as the student on campus, maybe compared to what you knew about him in the bit that you were recruiting him?
Probably a hard question because I haven't been on campus any. So I mean, I've been out recruiting, flying around in the helicopters, doing all the bit, trying to recruit. So obviously I've communicated with Jacob. We've had some academic meetings. We're catching up to speed now. So he's acclimated well, doing a good job in his classroom, and we're holding him to a high expectation as a leader on this team.
Kirby, you talked a lot about getting deeper and bigger on both lines of scrimmages. Do you feel like you've addressed it at this point? It doesn't look like there's a lot of numbers right now in that class on your 2 lines of scrimmage.
Yeah, I would definitely say that getting bigger is a goal of ours. We want to get bigger up front on both sides of the ball. I would say we most certainly have addressed that on the defensive line. And I think when you go to the offensive line, it's not exactly, we want some offensive tackles. If you said, what's the #1 need going into 2017, it's going to be offensive tackles, what we need. I mean, that's the most efficient area on our front, guys. But I think if you comb the country and you ask every SEC coach, he's going to say we're most efficient in offensive tackle, but it's the rarest find. You want a 6'5", 6'6" kid. They don't grow on trees. Those guys are just difference makers, and you've got to try to target those early, and a lot of those relationships are already established. They're being established now in 2017 and 2018. So when you come in, that's one of the toughest positions I think to recover at. That's one of the toughest positions to have that one-on-one relationship that your O-line, your head coach wants to have with players. So that's probably the most, the area I would say if you're most disappointed in is on the offensive line. We've got to improve the offensive lines. I'm very pleased with where we are with the defensive line. We've got some good young players, and we're trying to continue that. And a lot of times, if you can just recruit size and good football players, you leave yourself open to other areas on the offensive line.
Kirby, going back to Jacob, obviously you said you haven't spent a ton of time with him, but he's going to get a lot of pressure, a lot of outside talk about being the guy in his first year. What kind of conversations do you have with him, or have you had with him about that?
I think some of it came up during recruiting. The pressure's not on Jacob, the pressure's on me. You know, I'm the first year head coach, so the pressure's on me, Coach Chaney, to protect him. It's not, no pressure on him, no expectation for him. He's a kid coming straight out of high school for mid-year. He's going to have 15 practices. He's going to have 27, 28 practices in the fall to get him ready and prepared. We got to put him in good situations, and we got to be able to run the ball if he's the guy. You know, we don't want him coming in thinking that he's got to come in here and win this job. There's, you know, some other guys here too that played some football last year. So we've got to find what the best remedy for offense is, and that'll be very important in spring practice. But to say that it all falls on Jacob, I don't think that's the case. I would rather take that burden myself.
Kirby, what's it like to be on the other side of going up against Alabama? You guys won some, you lost some in terms of head-to-head with them, and where'd that live bulldog come from? Who was that?
I have no earthly idea. As far as Alabama, I don't think that you look at it as a head-to-head. I think you look at it as a relationship with a kid. And I certainly think they look at it the same way. You know, they've got relationships with the kids they sign. We've got relationships with the kids we sign. We both got great things to sell. The University of Georgia is a great place, and that's when I go see a kid, I'm selling the University of Georgia, our program, our development, what we can do, and that's enough in and of itself, which proved true on several kids in the state.
Coach, after today ends, what's next on the agenda for you and your coaching staff?
Get our hands on our players, you know, get into the off-season conditioning program and get around those guys, spend more time with them. We can even start some meetings on some football stuff. As a staff, we're starting on quality control next week. I'm really looking forward to that, because that's the part that I enjoy most, is the relationship with the players. Not the chasing and not the recruiting part, as much as the guys that are here, building a trust and bond with them and convincing them that the core of our team next year is on this campus. And we've got to develop that so that we can be a good, productive football team.
Coach, you said during your introductory news conference in December that when you were preparing for Georgia in October, that the lack of explosive players on the perimeter was something you noticed. Is that something you feel like with these three that you addressed?
I certainly hope so. I think the experts could say, but I don't think anybody knows. I really don't. I don't think you ever know until you get them out there, you get around them. I think we got a lot faster. Obviously, Tyler is a track kid who can really run. We think he's an explosive playmaker. Where Miko ends up, who knows? He wants to play DB, but who's to say he can't touch the ball some kind of way? He's done a really good job of that throughout his high school career. Ron Williams gives us size that we didn't have. He's made a lot of plays at a probably more competitive level than the other kids we signed, being that he's a junior college kid. So it makes it, good for us. And you got Riley Ridley, who competed at the highest level down there in Miami against really good players. And I got to see him firsthand in camp this summer and know what kind of competitive fibers he's made out of. And he'll compete and fight you for balls. So let's hope that they at least increase the competition in that room. And if you increase competition, sometimes you increase production. And that's what we're hoping.
Coach, you mentioned the mid-year guys coming in. What about just the waves of assistants that you were hiring throughout this process and what they did throughout these last couple of months?
Yeah, I can't thank these guys enough. I told the staff upstairs, no matter how this thing ends, no matter what happens in the next, 2, 3, 4 hours, I couldn't be prouder of the effort that guys put forward. The weekends, the demands they put on their families. A lot of them are, a long way away from their wives and kids. And they grind, they got kids in here, push themselves over the weekend, spend a lot of time with these families. I'm really pleased with the staff I was able to assemble. Not only the staff, the 9 full-time guys, but the support staff, where everybody's involved in recruiting, everybody develops relationships. It made me feel better when I went out into the homes, even kids we didn't get, that said, Coach, y'all did such a fabulous job on your official visit weekends. I felt important. I felt like I got individual time with everybody. That, to me, makes me feel good when you talk to people and they know you're doing it right and you're doing it the right way, and our staff did a great job of that, and we're going to continue to look at it and improve it and find out what we can do better.
Kirby, following up on Mark's question, was it in any way awkward recruiting against Nick Saban and trying to tell kids why they shouldn't go to Alabama and
I
should
don't
go to
recruit
Georgia?
against Nick Saban. I recruit for the University of Georgia, and I've been with him for 9 years, and I know he does the same. And that's why I have the utmost respect for him, because it's never about him or about me. It's about University of Georgia and about his university. So to me, it was never a personal thing. It was never any. I've been with him. I know how he recruits. I'm not going to sit there and attack him or his character when he's got 4 out of the last national championships. I don't think.